What's going on, guys? It's Tricky, back again with another episode of the Texas Rangers. Uh, so we're back here in February. It is the first day of spring training. I have completed the off season. I made a few moves, which I don't know. I'm not confident in a few of them. I'm more confident in some other ones. Some prospects have been developing a little quicker than I thought. So we're going to have to make some interesting changes with the roster this season. And it might involve cutting some guys loose. But luckily, the front office, the money situation is looking good. We have 26 million projected budget room, which is perfectly fine. But let me just go through real quick. This is just going to be a quick little update for the offseason. I'm going to look first at the trade log because I did make a couple trades in the offseason to shed some extra money and just to move some guys around. So the first one I made was at the end of the season. I made a trade with the D-backs. I traded Lance Lynn at the end of the season. He was back. He was healthy. He had a hot streak to end the year, as we saw, and he was making $8 million. And I just wanted to free up the rotation spot for someone younger. And I figured that Lance Lynn on $8 million would get us a pretty solid deal. I shopped him around. Only 3 teams wanted him, but the big team that really wanted to grab him was Arizona. Arizona was super into him. They gave me a really good offer at the time, centered around this guy, Corbin Martin, who, when I traded for him, he had 60 potential. He's now down to 45. My scout has since changed his opinion. But Corbin Martin, he's got some MLB time. He has a chance to be a pretty solid pitcher. These pitches look good, so even if maybe he doesn't work out in the rotation, he could slot in to the bullpen. He has not really had a good shot in the MLB. He's only had 22 innings of MLB time, and in that time he has posted a high ERA on a low BABIP and a low ERA on a high BABIP. So I'm just grabbing him to have a young arm. Either way, whether it's in the bullpen or whether it's in the rotation, I just think having a younger guy pitching my games will be good. So we grabbed him. And we also grabbed another prospect pitcher, this guy Ryan Weiss, who his personality class isn't great, but I liked the ratings. And OSA and my scout are kind of in agreement. My scout thinks his movement's going to be a little worse, but he had a good year last year in Double-A. In 157 innings, he pitched very well. So I am looking forward to seeing what this guy can do. He's 24. And I think he could develop into something that would be productive at the major league level. My scouts said he would be a depth starter. So that's a good thing. I don't think that's bad. And if we can get, this again in the minors and maybe a good season for us in the future while we're waiting for some of the pieces to get there and everything to come together, I think he could be a solid contributor. And then we also got in this deal, I just threw in this guy, Jeff Bain. He was a lottery ticket relief pitcher. I liked the ratings a little bit. I think they've since come down a bit. Or no, maybe not, actually. Yeah, okay, so his movement dropped since I traded for him. He was at 50-50-50. But once again, this isn't that bad. He struggled in AAA last year in a very short call-up. I've got him in AAA again because he is 24. But his minor league track record looks pretty good, and he has the chance to start. So if nothing else, he will be depth because we need pitching depth pretty bad. We don't have a lot of it. And that's another reason why I was just cycling out the vets. And I had to throw in this guy to get Weiss, Joe Corbett. I was looking at trading him last season or during last season, but it never really came up. He's got a bad personality and his ratings are bad. Pretty much across the board, although OSA has since gotten better on him since I've traded him. But I didn't like his ratings, and my scout is not into him at all, and he struggled really bad in Hickory. He dominated in low A, came up to A ball, and got absolutely rocked. So I figured I would just send him off. He's a guy who a few teams were interested in. So I was figuring that I was going to package him in somewhere. It just so happened that he ended up in the Lynn deal. He was 24, and I just had better options as young relief arms. And then in December, I made another trade. I got rid of Jordan Lyles. I wanted to get him off the team because he's selfish. And, his ratings were okay. His season was good, but I wanted to get him off the team to kind of save morale, and he was really mad that he was on the team. So I figured I would move him to try to shore up some other places on the team. And so I sent him away. I am retaining all of his salary, but it's only for 1 year. So this was the only way I was going to get a good deal for him, and he wanted to be traded. So I sent him to the Padres, and in return I got Matt Strahm, who I'm just going to slot into the bullpen. I want quality relief arms, and Strahm looked like the guy for the job. He could start. I think he didn't start with San Diego. He could start if he has to. I don't want him to start. My manager wanted him to start. I force started him as a reliever because I have other guys I want to get reps in spring training as starters. But he's a good teammate, and he's got decent enough ratings. He's ARB, so if he's bad, we can just cut him loose. He's not really the centerpiece. The centerpiece was actually this guy, Jordan Guerrero, who I really liked, and San Diego was willing to throw him in. And he is a power pitcher, 98 to 100, 60 potential, great ratings. The control's a little low, but the walk numbers haven't been bad besides this very short 1/3 of an inning stint in Double-A where he kind of exploded. But after that, he's been good. So he's on. Well, he's called up right now because I had to add him to the 40-man for the Rule 5 draft. But he hasn't pitched above A ball, which is a little. It has me pumping the brakes a little bit. But the ratings are nice. OSA likes him too, and I'm hoping that this can play because this looks really good if he can slot into the back end of the bullpen. And then finally, I made a trade in January because I traded Lyles, freed up a rotation spot. I was trying to sign Daniel Norris. He was on the free agent market he only wanted $1 million. He wanted 1.1 million. And so I offered him 1.25 million just to see if I could get him quick. And he sent me back a message. He was like, I got an offer from St. Louis. It's better. I want 1.3 million. So I gave him 1.5 million as my offer. And then without a counter, he didn't tell me we were in a bidding war. He instantly just signed with the Dodgers for 1.1 million. So that I was pretty mad about that, honestly, but it's fine. I ended up making a trade with the Giants. They were looking to trade Tyler Anderson, who is a pretty decent looking starting pitcher. He's a rental for 1 year, so if anything, I could flip him. I just wanted a guy who could be a little bit more competent in my starting rotation, and he had a pretty solid season last year. 4.09 ERA, 3.09 BABIP. The ERA plus was average. The peripherals looked solid, sans a few extra home runs, but I think he'll play well in our stadium, and I just think that he's a good fit for us, especially on that 2 million salary isn't that bad, and the price wasn't that bad. I only had to give up a couple of guys. I gave up Joe Palumbo, who was one of my depth arms that I was considering him as a depth arm, but he's 26. The ratings aren't great. His season in AAA was really good, but in the MLB in real life, he didn't do well. I just think that, I have more guys who I would rather have getting MLB reps than Palumbo. And, OSA likes him a little more, which is fine. But I have younger guys that I like better. So I just traded Palumbo and this guy, Jember Gutierrez, who is a very low ranking second base prospect. He hit well last season in high A, or low A, excuse me. But, I have so many players that are like this. I have so many soft hitting utility guys that I didn't need to keep him around. He was fine for the price. So him and Palumbo. I was thinking about trading Hans Kraus, and Kraus's value has fallen a lot in recent months. But I figured I'd just trade Palumbo instead, keep the younger guys around. Maybe I'll regret it, but with these ratings, I'm not too sure. The walks are high, and his time in the majors, he's given up a lot of home runs. So, and also his season last year was on the back of a lower BABIP, and his FIP, I believe I looked at his FIP. Yeah, I looked at his FIP. It was high. It was 5.2. So, I'm not thinking that I traded away a Cy Young Award winner here. And I got Tyler Anderson, who I think will be productive this year, just to fill out the rotation. It looks a little weird right now, but that's the move that I wanted to make, just as like a stopgap for the younger guys who are coming along. And so this is the spring training roster. I haven't done any invites yet, like any non-roster invites. These are all just my 40-man guys. My 40-man's packed because of all of the Rule 5 guys I had to protect. But we're rolling with a spring training rotation of Anderson, White, Allard, Gibson. I couldn't find a trade partner for him. I didn't want to eat his money, so I'm just going to keep him, maybe try to trade him next year. He's worse than Lyles on paper, but he's a better guy, and I think last year was an anomaly. This season, I think just everybody underperformed, so I'm not too worried about him. So he's in the rotation. Corbin Martin and then Ariel Jurado will be rounding it out in spring training. And then my bullpen, I think, looks really good. I think it's a strength. Barlow, his potential went down a bit, but not too bad. Guerrero, I'm hoping, pans out. Hernandez is on the 40-man. LeClaire will be back. His potential went down a little bit, too. Lemoyne, who I don't think of very highly, but he was good in very limited action in the majors last year. Brett Martin, who I'm hoping can turn it around. Montero, who is back. We gave him an extension in ARB. Joely Rodriguez, who we just are kind of stuck with because of this contract. But he is good at avoiding giving up homers. He did not give up a home run in 54 innings last year. So I'm fine with that. I claimed Fernando Romero off of waivers. With this potential, I was fine with it. He's 26. He's worth the minimum. His ratings look really good. He's got 2 great pitches, chance for a plus slider. The makeup is solid, and he had a very small sample size last year, but he did well. So, yeah, he also had a good season in Double-A. He got called up directly from Double-A, so I'm hoping that he does well. Just to have relief arms is really good, especially young arms. And then Strom, who we got in the trade. And then I signed Brandon Workman as a free agent. He was really cheap. I got him for $9 million, $4.5 million this year, team option next year, so trade bait. And he had a monster season last year. His BABIP was really low, but actually it wasn't even. It was close to 300, and he pitched like crazy. A 1.99 ERA in 45 innings. He wasn't the closer, so he didn't have any saves. But yeah, the whip was low. Barely gave up any home runs. Walks are a little high, but he's a reliever, so I think we can get by that. I mean, he looks really good. I'm hoping he can at least provide us some value in the short term. But I've put together, my plan was to put together a solid back end behind a decent rotation. And then the lineup, I made some signings. So free agent signings, I signed Howie Kendrick. My plan was to platoon him with Guzman. as a kind of a lefty righty. I needed more righty bats, so I just signed Kendrick. He was a low priced. He was $3 million. Just to see where he slots in. I also signed Jake Lamb because I figured I could use a stopgap third baseman, and he helped my fan interest. But then it turns out, I guess my manager likes Tejeda better, even though Tejeda's season wasn't that great. And then Shirt and Apostle, I mean, his ratings are going up fast. So third base now looks a little crowded. And then I also signed... Oh, no, that's it. So, yeah, I just signed Howie Kendrick and Jake Lamb. And then I claimed William Contreras in the Rule 5 draft. He looks really good as a catcher. He raked in AAA. His ratings are actually better when I drafted him, go figure. But he looks pretty good. If Huff isn't ready yet, which he might not be, he might have to go back down to AAA for a little bit. So if Huff isn't ready yet, we can roll with Contreras and Cufo. I'm thinking I might trade Kiner Falefa because he does not really look like he's going to fit into our organization's plans, considering he's not even getting any playing time in the spring. So we'll see what happens there. Alamize is back up. This is just spring, so we'll see what happens with all of these guys. I'm hoping to get some good reps for them to figure out what the roster is going to look like. I like to look at spring performances for making my roster. Some guys will just skip through and do it themselves, but I really like looking at the spring performances, especially I'm going to be looking at it for a guy like Tejeda or something like that. A few guys here who might be cut or whatever if they don't really fit into the plans. I might trade Falefa, and then honestly, maybe if Lamb doesn't fit into the plans, he would be gone. I can option him if I need to, but I wasn't planning on it. Lugo could probably get sent off if he doesn't do well, just off the waiver claim. The ratings aren't super exciting. I'm hoping Solak brings it together, although he's been turned into a left fielder, so I don't know what's going on there. I was hoping that Calhoun would just DH, especially with these ratings. I mean, his ratings are going up like crazy, so I was really hoping he would DH, but my manager wants to play him in left and DH Kendrick. But we'll see what happens at the end of the spring. I was thinking that this team looks good, but then I checked the preseason predictions on the first day of spring training, and apparently it doesn't look good. We are projected to go 69-93, which is 3 wins better, I believe, than we did last year. I think we went 6. Did we go 66 and... Or no, I think we went 63-96. Or something like that. But either way, that's not good. They expect our pitching to be better than last time, but still bad. They think our hitting is going to be terrible, which I don't know. Like, we're not even supposed to hit that many home runs. So, I don't know. It's just really strange. I almost want to say I don't agree with this projection. I think our team can overperform. But, maybe not. I mean, the thing with the Rangers is, they're still hampered by these contracts, Odor and Andrews, taking up spots. I would hope that we could get better production out of our lineup this year than we did last year, especially with guys like Martin and Williams up. We'll have to do something here. I may have to take control of the lineups to get this to play out the way I want to, but we'll see what happens at the end of spring. That's probably where I'm going to come in. Oops, that's 7-day lineups. I'm just clicking around randomly. That's probably where we're going to come back for the next episode, because I have to go through. I signed a few guys to minor league deals and everything, so I have to make sure they're all kind of in the right places. And I want to do that. Mess with pitcher or not pitchers, prospects, and move some of those guys around. Fix up the summer leagues and the rookie leagues. I released a bunch of guys in my rookie league who were taking up unnecessary room. I kept, I even actually released a few of the guys I drafted if they weren't high potential guys, but I kept around, like Calabrese, Haas, Allen, and then Bitsko has just completely fallen off a cliff. 20 potential according to my scout, 20 potential according to OSA. He does have, I was looking though, when I was rewatching my draft video, I noticed that he had batting ratings, and he's got a good arm. So, I mean, he's got good pop. He could be a third baseman. I don't know. We'll see. I might think about doing that. We have guys down in the farm. We've got all the prospects to keep an eye on. So, we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping for something good here. I'm hoping the team can overperform. We still have prospects who are going to take spots, so I'm looking forward to that. Just to check, we are ranked, and we should go to front office. We are ranked as the 20th farm system in baseball. I would have really hoped would have gone up more. Our highest ranked prospect is Marrero at 23, and my scout has decided that he hates him, which isn't good. We still have Jung, who's doing okay, but I mean, we're kind of getting robbed by our prospects here. So hopefully we can bring it together. Hopefully the team can perform better than we're expected. I'm hoping for at least some sizable progress. I'm hoping for 70 plus wins instead of, I mean, I know 70 plus isn't much of a difference from 69, but I mean, I would feel a lot better with 70 something and 80 than 60 and 90. It just doesn't look as bad on the on the standings board. But we'll see. I also did release Farrell, which I didn't originally want to do, but the 40-man was loaded. So yeah, he's gone. And we just have Brock Burke and this guy Engler on the injured list. So that's that. I'll be back after spring training, probably in the next episode, because I'm going to try to consciously keep these episodes shorter. So I'll just be back then. I wanted to do the quick update just to go through my rosters and transactions before the spring. So at the beginning of next episode, I'll do a quick roster introduction, go over any injuries if we had them, and then I'll probably just skip right to the draft. So maybe in the first episode of 2021, we can do, the opening day update, and then the draft in June. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. If you enjoyed, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow along and see how much the 2021 Texas Rangers are going to blow the preseason predictions out of the water. Hopefully. Yeah, and if you have any questions, comments, feedback, if you want to tell me how horrible my team looks, leave a comment. All comments will be very much appreciated. So yeah, I'll see you guys on opening day. Have a wonderful day.